The just concluded by-election is a good sample for the opposition to go back to the drawing board, analyze the results, and learn some lessons. In this analysis, we want to look into what the opposition should do, or what the opposition should learn from the just concluded by-elections, and what they should prepare in accordance with the 2027 general election. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching for the first time, always remember subscribe, like this video, and also you can drop a comment in the comment section. Now, the first lesson that the opposition should understand, which is very important, that it's now clear that in the 2027 general election, the government or the Ruto side is going to invest heavily in campaigns. You saw how the heavy resources have been invested in Impere, in Malava, and in other constituencies that they had candidates. It's going to be clear. It's now clear that in 2027 they are going to invest heavily, especially in areas they are sure that they can mobilize through resources to get votes. And from what just as we have seen the by-elections, these resources and monies have influence on the outcome of the results. Because of the resources, they were able to pull a surprise in Imbere. Because of the resources, we saw Farouk going to campaign in Malava. They have been able to pull a surprise in Malava by winning both of the seats. So, number one, they should strategize on how to bring their resources together and counter strategize what is going to happen in 2027 in terms of resource mobilization and campaign. So that's the first lesson. They should prepare, because this other side is going to, the two-term side is going to invest heavily in those campaigns, especially in Western and even in areas of the likes of Mount Kenya East that we have seen. Ladies and gentlemen, the other lesson that the opposition cannot do away with right now is that with what they have seen from the by-elections, they cannot imagine a split in the opposition. Any split in the opposition with the muscle that the two-term side is exhibiting is going to bring attention in the outcome of the results. So it's high time that the opposition should even unite more. Fredo Matiang'i, Rigathi Gachagua, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, the likes of Natembeya should come together, sit down and strategize, and strategy that will keep them together even to the 2027 general election. Should there be any chance of a split? And I've always adhered to this, that if there will be a split in any of these before 2027 in the opposition, either Rigathi Gachagua falling apart, Matiang'i falling apart, and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, either of them falling apart, you cannot underestimate any of those candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, in Imbere North, the candidate won with 500 votes only. In Malava, a candidate won with 1,000 votes only in that constituencies. In 2022, President Ruto won that election with just about 1% of the votes, which was about less than 200,000 votes. So you can understand how the Kenyan election is highly competitive. So any candidate pulling aside will mean that a pool of a certain votes from that faction of the opposition. And that's why today as we speak, the opposition is regretting not to have included Moses Kuria, because Moses Kuria has responded that none of the opposition candidates or principals tried to reach him so that the ECCK party could have joined the opposition candidate in the Mbeere North constituency, because Moses Kuria candidates got about 2,200 votes, which were enough to make the opposition candidate Newton Karish in Mbeere win that seat. So any chance of anybody pulling aside is a jeopardy to what can happen in that election in 2027. Ladies and gentlemen, the last thing, or the second last thing I think, is that the opposition should now do what we call strategize, do a good strategy on how they're going to approach the 2027 general election. We have always said, and I've always said, that President Ruto is a master of politics. What you are thinking about, he has already thought about it earlier enough. It was his plan to put a by-election in Mbeere North, because he actually knew that by picking Honorable Rook to go to be the cabinet secretary for public service, there was going to be a by-election in that area. So that was his strategy. to pull a by-election there, and you can see that he has achieved what he wanted. He has got the results what he wanted. It was a strategy to go and put enough resources in the Malava constituencies, pick the right candidates, and you can see that he has achieved the results in Malava and in Impere. So what the opposition is planning, or what the opposition should think, is that they should have a good strategy, because President Ruto is a master of politics, and what you're thinking about, he has already thought about it. He has already laid a good counter plan on it. And just to think, to sit down and think that you are just going to win without strategizing, it can pull a surprise on the opposition come 2027. So they should strategize well enough, look into the best formula of picking candidates, the flag bearer, the running mate, who should get what is the correct time to announce the flag bearer, what should other candidates get, what plan or economic plan they should come and approach the people with, because I agree with the president. I agree that it's not just enough to say one term. You should also come out and explain to the people what you ought to do as the opposition. And they should come down and strategize ahead of the 2027 general election. Or otherwise, it will get a surprise. They will pull a surprise, as it happened in Mbeere and in Malava. Ladies and gentlemen, the last point, or the last thing that we expect from the election that's going to happen, is that as you observe from the two just concluded by-election, is that the Gen Zs did not turn out to vote. You could see from the lines in Malava constituencies, you could see from the constituencies in both Malava and in both Mbeere, that the Gen Z did not turn out to vote in those constituencies. So, and the position greatly depends on the Gen Z, the younger people, who are about 60%. But it's a clear indicator that should this be the indication for the 2027 general election, then they are going to lose a good vote from the opposition, because the Gen Zs are the biggest, one of the biggest voting bloc that the opposition depends on. So they should mobilize the Gen Zs to register, the first thing, and to turn out. They should come up with a formula that will make the Gen Z and the younger people of the Republic to turn out and vote. It was so unfortunate that in the lines we could see only older women and older men lining up early in the morning to vote. The turnout of Gen Zs was literally very poor. As I said, you can tell me in the comment section. I'll take more time to read and give you a response. And in case police would you like this, the channel should be take a second or two, subscribe to the channel, and you can also drop a comment in the comment section. Have a nice weekend and stay safe whenever you are. Let's meet next time. Adios.